book entitled The Soldier's Legacy, which we are launching today, highlights the evolution of the Kenya Army for over 55 years. To that end, the story of the Kenya Army is one of deep-rooted commitment and resilience, for which I, as the editor-in-chief of this maiden edition, was privileged to be part of the team that pieced it together. The path leading to the production of the Kenya Army story took many months of rigorous reviews and research to ensure it delivered. It was a unique experience that gave the editorial team an in-depth understanding of the dedication of Kenya Army soldiers towards service to this great nation. Our interaction with the retired and serving personnel revealed profound insights into the true meaning of patriotism. Your Excellency, sir, kindly allow me to thank all those involved in the realization of this historic publication. First, my sincere gratitude goes to the research, writing, and editorial teams that had to sift through data spanning several decades, a task they undertook with diligence. Secondly, sir, I convey my appreciation to the retired commanders of the Kenya Army, officers, service members, whose contribution laid a firm foundation for the book. Without these compatriots, we would have missed out on crucial historical facts that underlie the institution of the Kenya Army. Thirdly, sir, we are indebted to the serving Kenya Army personnel who documented their personal experiences, making it possible for us to tell our story based on first-hand information. This will serve to connect the reader with the Kenya Army soldier. In addition, Your Excellency, I'm grateful to the Vice Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, Lieutenant General Kibochi, who, as then commander, initiated the writing of this book. His vision of the end product kept us focused throughout the process. Likewise, we are thankful to Lieutenant General Walter Koipaton, who, after taking over as commander, continued to provide counsel and material support leading to this launch. So allow me also to express my deep appreciation to our families who are part of this book. Our spouses and children candidly shared their experiences, laying bare their innermost fears, truly reaffirming their centrality in the life of a soldier. To them, I say, asanteni sana. Finally, I wish to acknowledge our partners in the academia and our designers for their role in the production of the book. As I conclude, sir, I invite all our distinguished guests and Kenyans at large to access and read this publication, not only to connect with their soldiers, but also because they are part of the legacy.
Let me begin by congratulating the Kenya Army for the role it has played over the years to ensure peace and stability in our nation, our region, and in many other parts of the world where our gallant soldiers have served. Let me also thank the Kenya Army fraternity on the successful completion of the Soldier's Legacy and its subsequent launch today. Secondly, sir, I wish to thank Your Excellency for the continued support your government and the people of Kenya have continued to accord the Kenya Defense Forces. This support has seen the Kenya Defense Forces initiate and complete not just this project, but many others in furtherance to the KDF modernization plan and national security objectives. The Kenya Army has a long and distinguished history that dates back to the King's African Rifles. The dedication and professionalism that has been exemplified in the Kenya Army of the last 5 decades is indeed commendable. The men and women of the Kenya Army, as part of the KDF, have been called upon by international community to serve in more than 40 United Nations OAU and AU, and Commonwealth peacekeeping missions, contributing more than 50,000 troops since independence. In undertaking these missions, our soldiers have made great sacrifices in the service of humanity and our great nation. Your Excellency, we also note with pride that the Kenya Army has not only contributed to our nation's internal security as mandated by our Constitution, but also assisted other government organizations within the framework of multi-agency concept to undertake initiatives and programs to promote national development and human security. On the second agenda, Excellency, I am happy to note that the Soldier's Legacy is a timely publication that reminds us of the rich history and heritage of the Kenya Army. The book recounts some of the experiences that our soldiers encounter as they go about their duties in defense of our great nation. It is our hope that this book will demystify the Kenya Army and will be useful to educators, scholars, students, and the general public, even as they seek to dissect the history of one of the Kenya's anchor institutions. Even as we reflect on the Army's achievement to date, we are grateful for the addition of this camp to our barracks and wish to assure Your Excellency that we will continue to deliver on our mandate as expected of us at all times.
Let me begin by congratulating the Kenya Army for its efforts in recording its history of distinguished contribution to our great nation since independence. The soldier's legacy is a living testimony of that journey, and it outlines the strong tradition of courage, duty, honor, sacrifice, and service to the nation that our men and women in the Army are world-renowned for. This seminal publication will inspire current and future generations of Kenyans to commit to serving, protecting, and advancing the interests of Kenya, whether in uniform or as civilians. It wonderfully illustrates the values of our country as given life by our defense forces, that we are a nation of peace, that will steadfastly defend our freedom, territory, and way of life against all external foes, and that we shall always emerge victorious. The establishment of this new barracks is part of our ongoing program of enhancing the footprint and rapid deployment capability of the Kenya Army. My administration will do all that is within its power to provide the resources necessary to sustain the Defense Forces modernization programs and plans so as to ensure that you remain seized of your mission to protect the sovereignty of our great republic across its entire length and breadth. We pride ourselves of our gallant soldiers, for you have stood firm and steadfast in pursuit of peace and security, both regionally and globally, confronting and waging war against the faceless Al-Shabaab terror group in Somalia. And this we do in order to guarantee the security of not only our own people, but also our brothers and sisters in that neighboring country. I am happy to note that these endeavors are well captured in the book that we have just launched and are solidified also by the establishment of this permanent military camp here in Garissa. As your Commander-in-Chief, I am particularly proud to say that whenever I have the opportunity of meeting other heads of state and government, I am always asked to receive praise on behalf of the nation of Kenya, and in particular of our defense forces, for all that you have done and continue to do in advancing the cause of peace and security globally. So to all members of the defense forces, my urge to you is to continue to uphold your professional ideals and military ethos in protecting our country. The sanctity of human life, the dignity of all people, and the cohesion of our communities are important principles that should continue to guide your operations. You must therefore relentlessly nurture the skills and values that represent our highest aspirations as a nation. The aspirations of courage, selflessness, readiness, and proficiency. We do appreciate and indeed celebrate your patriotism and dedication to duty from independence to date. And I urge you all to continue to uphold the golden legacy of professionalism. As we read the soldier's legacy, let us not lose track of the fact that it takes sacrifice, dedication, and discipline to protect a nation. And while I salute the Kenya Army, and indeed the entirety of the Kenya Defense Forces, I wish also to take this opportunity to remind all Kenyans that the defense and security of our country is a collective responsibility and not the sole remit of the security organs alone. Let us therefore at all times remain seized of the fact that we all have a role to play in the defense and security of our nation, including the need to remain vigilant and united against those who may wish us harm. The pride of our citizens and their confidence in our defense forces has remained steadfast since independence, due to your professionalism, your commitment, and selfless service that you have always demonstrated. The citizens of our nation are grateful to you for giving our country the platform of peace, security, and stability that is the prerequisite for sustained social economic development. Our people are also enormously proud of the honor you give our nation through your spotless reputation in the region and beyond. To all our KDF, I say this: each and every one of you, you are without doubt our nation's best and bravest. You are the living and breathing embodiment of the finest values, principles, and aspirations of our nation. You are our sword and shield, and the constant daily reminder to every citizen on what it means to be a Kenyan. And I am indeed proud to say that you have already lived to my call, which I made yesterday to Kenyans, urging them to always put Kenya kwanza, leo, kesho, na milele. Mungu awabariki nyote. Mungu aendelee kuwalinda mkitekeleza kazi zenu za kulinda taifa letu.
These monuments are inscribed the names of officers, men and women, who fell during the campaign. We will be remembered. We will
Your Excellency stands from this monument of those who have died that we might live to dedicate our lives. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Your Excellency, sir, I kindly request you to present copies of the book to the following.
Thank you, sir.
Lieutenant Colonel Ahmed Saman will receive on behalf of the editorial team. Next, sir, is the Commander Kenyan Navy, Major General Mugalu. Sir. Sir, the Commander Kenya Air Force, Major General Ogola. Sir, the Commander Kenya Army, Lieutenant General Koipaton.
Thank you so much.
Sir, the Vice Chief of the Defense Forces, Lieutenant General Kibochi. Sir, the Principal Secretary of Defense, Dr. Ibrahim Mohammed.
Thank you, sir. Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Finally, sir, the Chief of the Defense Forces, General Samson Wadebe. Sir, on behalf of the Kenyan fraternity, the Commander Kenya Army will present to you copies of the soldier's legacy. Commander, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, that marks the end of the presentation.